An update out of Holyoke, the school committee there continuing their search for a superintendent. The Holyoke Teachers Association providing an update to social media today. The association says they're encouraging the school committee to engage in a democratic search for a new superintendent as they plan for the end of their receivership. Western Mass News spoke with Secretary of Education Patrick Tutwiler to see if there were any new developments regarding the receivership.
Nothing new to add at present. The commissioner of the elementary and secondary ed is working closely with the mayor, with the current receiver to develop a path forward. We know that work is happening in earnest and look forward to supporting the community and moving forward.
In their letter, the Teachers Association states that hiring a superintendent of schools is a crucial decision that deserves a lot of community discussion.